Hello guys, what's going on? Infernal Shard 1 for the win here. And today I just wanted to go over a little bit about the Red Dead Redemption story mode that has been out for like ever now, and because of the release of Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, I know might kind of look funny because I'm playing Call of Duty while I'm actually talking about the story of Red Dead Redemption, but my Grand Theft Auto 5 is updating right now, and it's still got a good while to go. So I decided to make this as a video while I'm talking about Red Dead Redemption story mode. Okay, so the first part in the beginning of the story of Red Dead Redemption, John Marston gets off of this ship, this water freaking museum ship or whatever, in the middle of the town called Blackwater, and he gets off with these two gentlemen, and they walk him to this train to ride over to Armadillo. So he gets on the train, and these guys are like not very friendly with him and all this other stuff. So he gets on the train and he rides over to Armadillo, and Bonnie is on the train also where he's getting on at, and he gets off at Armadillo and goes meets this guy in the bar shop and all this. His name's called Jake the Snake or something like that. I don't know what his name is. He's Jake something with a funny name. And so Jake is the one that plans on taking him over to Fort Mercer, where one of his old friends that used to be like a best friend with him that decided to like leave him in the dust. He goes over and tries to see if he'll forgive him, and he tries to forgive him and to see if he'll like come back together in his game. So Jake takes him over to Fort Mercer to meet with Bill Williamson, the guy that he's trying to like convince and all this. And so he goes over there, and on top of that, Jake says this is what's left of Fort Mercer, and told him that the Bill's gang came and took the place over. So then John Marston goes to the front of the gate of the place of the building and hollers at Bill Williamson, and Bill Williamson comes out and getting angry and stuff, and just like doesn't want to like help with John Marston when John Marston's trying to let him know that there's a lot of war going to be happening. And then so he doesn't like it for like after the first 5 to 6 minutes, and then John Marston gets his gun out and is about ready to shoot Bill Williamson, and but one of Bill Williamson's helpers beside him actually shoots John Marston, and then later that the next morning that happened is Bonnie finds Marston laying on the ground half dead, and so she heals him, or doesn't heal him. I mean, she actually rescues him, takes him to a doctor, and it costs her $15, which in other words, $15 in the old Western time is like 5 to 10 not million, 5 to 10 thousands of dollars here in the real world. Like that's how much it is back from the old west. It was like 5 to 10 thousand dollars, as you could call here in the real world. So it cost them $15 to rescue him. So John Marston thanks Bonnie and whoever that she was with that saved him, and she says, I forget what she said or whatever, but he says he'll help her and he'll do whatever he can to pay her back for especially saving his life. And so John Marston does a lot of work around her ranch and all that, right? Helps her get cows ready and this and that. Then after that, he meets a guy called Lee Johnson, Marshall Johnson or something like that. And there's two people in a gang with him, and one of them doesn't like when he first meets him because he thinks he's from Bill Williamson and all that, because he doesn't like Bill Williamson. So that part happens, and they get together and they go do a couple missions. Then after part of that, he meets three other members, and their names are Nigel West Dickens and Seth, and then also Irish. He meets those three people and does like 2 to 3 missions, or actually does 3 to 4 missions with each of the three, and he gets mad at both of them because they're trying to like do whatever they want, and he's trying to get them to help get over to Fort Mercer. So he doesn't get really that much mad on Seth because Seth actually just wanted to do like a treasure hunt real quick, but then he actually finds out that he got it or it's not true, and then Seth just goes over to Fort Mercer and gets ready. Along with Irish and Nigel West Dickens, Irish tells him a couple places where where there would be a sentry gun, and it turns out that the sentry gun is not in that old chest building over beside the part of the lake in the middle of the map. And then he takes him over, and they find a sentry gun down in the hole down in the ground under the ground at that one old city place near Tumbleweed. And then so he goes down there, and then the sentry gun that Marston found there that they got out, Marston finds out that it doesn't work. And then so the last part is there's a sentry gun over at Thieves Landing after Irish was pretending to shoot a couple of girls, and John Marston ran into him and told him he needed to grow up and he shouldn't have done that to those girls, and he's telling the girls that he's being colletedly dramatic. And then that's the part where he gets done with Irish. And then with West Dickens, he wants to go sell and have John Marston win a race so he can get money. And Marston keeps getting mad at Nigel West Dickens for wasting his time. And then after that, then everybody, including Marshall Johnson, is all at the one spot of the hill trying to see if Bill Williamson is still at Fort Mercer. So they go in there as a gang, and they go in there and they start shooting people. And then it comes to find out that Bill Williamson went down to Mexico on the other side of the river below Fort Mercer. And then so John Marston goes down there and finds quite a few people, D. Santa, and they ask him if he'll like be their trust or trust him and all that, and give him his trust. And so John Marston does. But then after a few missions that they do, John Marston gets hammered from D. Santa and he gets plattered. But then there's this guy that this girl Lisa is trying to marry that he saved a while back is actually saving him. And so that he starts getting D. Santa, and this guy that was married to Lisa actually helps him get D. Santa, and he says, do you want to shoot him, or do you want him to leave him for me? And then you get to choose whether you want to shoot D. Santa or leave him to Leonard Herreras is what his name is. And after that, but before that also, along with meeting DeSanti, he also meets this guy called Lehan Ricketts. And he's pretty helpful, and he's a pretty good character. And then there's a part, he's the one that helps him save Lisa, Abraham Reha's wife. And so he does a couple missions with her, and he saves her. Then she dies when the last mission comes for him killing Bill Williamson, and Bill Williamson's at this place, and that's what happened. And Bill Williamson tries to escape, and he knows that Bill Williamson and Javier Lascuela is in that, and then so they try to escape, and you have John Marston chases for them, and they stop in the middle of nowhere when Abraham Rares and him are together at the same time, and then they kill the people, and then in the building, or in the in the shelter thing or whatever, they both come out, and then it's the end for Bill Williamson. So then after that mission, then John Marston goes back to Blackwater and goes talk to these two gentlemen that you seen on the first part of the story, like where you start the first cutscene and John Marston gets off the ship at Blackwater and he walks with these two gentlemen. Those are the two gentlemen that he goes and meets after killing Bill Williamson in that one mission. And he tries to get his wife and all this other stuff, but it turns out to be that they said that he's got to kill freaking what's his name, Dutch. And then he tries to he finds Dutch over on the one side of the building, like on the second mission from wherever, and he meets this guy that's a doctor and all this, and his name is I forget what his name is, but he meets this doctor too, and he also helps with him getting Dutch. And so Dutch is over at this one building on the other side, on the other side of the sidewalk of where the two guys that he meets, which is Edgar Ross and whoever the other guy's name is. And then Dutch is trying to shoot this girl for protection of himself, have her to block his protection for his safety. And John Marston just talks to him, and he just gets away. And so Edgar Ross says, no, you're not getting your family back no matter what. And then so the next part is Dutch goes over to the place up in the snowy mountains, and John Marston goes over there, and this guy that he saved on this ship with Edgar Ross in the middle of nowhere that was tied, he actually helps him and then gets like shot or something. But he chases down Dutch, and then when it comes up, Dutch is at the end of this big huge hill, and he doesn't know what to do, and so he just talks to John Marston and he's like, I know what I've done, this and that. You win, so I'll be gone. And then he just straight up falls off the cliff and kills himself. And then so Edgar Ross is like, you know what? You still didn't shoot the man. I don't know why you're so scared and all this other stuff. And then he just shoots Dutch for no reason, even though he's dead. And then John Marston gets his family back, and he finds his family, and then they're happy ever after. He has a son and did had a daughter, but his daughter died, but his son is still alive, and so is his wife. And then so he teaches his son how to get ready to go in the future with like killing bears and killing deers and killing wolves and all this stuff and going out on his own. And then one mission is where Jack Marston goes out on his own, and before his dad even knows, and his dad didn't like it, so his dad had to go save him, and he was hurt bad. But he tried to go on his own to show his dad that he could do it. And then after that, then it comes to a big war with a lot of people, and it was from Edgar Ross. And then at that part, after doing all that, his uncle dies that was in the let's just say his uncle was the main boss of the property. He was the one that was helping keeping it with food and stuff. So he dies. Jack Marston finds out and doesn't like it and gets upset. And then him and his wife and Jack Marston go to their garage, and John Marston tells him, get out, be safe, and wishes him luck. And then they feel sad. And then so John Marston walks out of his garage, and then he gets shot from all these other enemies. And so Edgar Ross is right there and kills John Marston. So then later that part of the story, Jack Marston, at about 5 to 10 years later, actually I think it's 3 to 5 years as a matter of fact, but 3 to 5 years later, Jack Marston is taking place over his father and is now the main boss of the property. Abigail's died. as well as John Marston. Like, Abigail died like a year or so later after John Marston died. And so Jack Marston is over at the two stones of his mom and dad that died. And so what he does, he goes and finds uh finds Edgar Ross, well, gets missions and passes to go to find Edgar Ross, and then he finds Edgar Ross over in Mexico, and he goes, "You remember me?" He's like, "You're the one who shot my dad, didn't you?" And then him and him have a battle, and he kills Edgar Ross, and that's the end of the story. So, yeah, guys, that's the end. That's how the end of the story of Red Dead Redemption and how it went. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you like it. If you guys could, I want to get you guys. I want you guys to send a like on this video and send me in the comments below of what you thought about it. And I want you to subscribe to my channel. Those of you that are new, hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on any activities. And send me in the comments below, and don't forget to hit a like. I'm hoping to get 500 to at least 5,000 likes on this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. So peace out.